I want to talk quickly about another textbook I often use called Calligraph. Calligraph literally means beautiful writing. And, whoever put this together, I think that's a pretty apt title because there are short stories in there. And I forget the editor's name, but this person collected these short stories. And I've worked with this book for a couple of years, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. And these short stories not only are great short stories in terms of recognized as famous stories, but also they fall into a pattern, right? So what I want you to do with Calligraph is I want you to read the first four stories. Maybe we'll actually read more, but you definitely need to read the first four stories. And you need to ask yourself, what are the common elements I'm seeing in the stories? Am I seeing a moment of crisis? Am I seeing a subject in trouble? A character in trouble? Am I seeing communication with the supernatural? Am I seeing, I don't know, you look into that, right? Try to find common elements that these stories share and maybe even a common timeline, okay? And the point behind this is, can you imitate that with your own short story? With your own content, can you imitate that pattern and those general qualities? And the, the teaching value of this is that you're imitating these great authors. Um, Down the line, you might want to be completely original, but before you get there, you got to learn some of the basics of the craft. Before Picasso, painted what he painted in his style, he was an apprentice. He was a someone who learned how to draw very realistic roosters. And you look at one of his rooster drawings, and you're like, that's not Picasso. That's just someone who really drew a very good rooster. What I'm saying is he had to learn how to draw the rooster first before he could draw the rooster. And I feel like maybe you would benefit, those of you that might want to try this, right? And maybe give yourself a chance at being a fiction writer or short story writer, right? Try to imitate first and then originate. And that's what Calligraph is. A lot of the focus in this class is just going to be on academic research and on nonfiction writing for the college setting, which frankly is it loses its benefit once you move out of the college setting. So I'm not at full liberty to try to radically redesign a writing class here at these colleges. Now I work for some other areas and some other organizations where we've rethought a lot of things and redesigned a lot of things, and there's a lot of good stuff happening there. But here, I need to have you do these essays. I need to have you do the academic research paper. So, you know, this is sort of an outlet. This is for people that it could be for you. And I want us all to experiment with this, right? But I'm thinking about maybe someone who is like, writing isn't for me. Well, wait a minute. There's so many types of writing. Maybe a certain type of writing isn't for you, but you're going to really get into short story writing, and maybe that'll open a door for you. I don't know. It's worth trying, right? And I'll give you some points for it. Basically, it depends on the class. It depends on the time we have, but I know that one thing I will require from all my students, right, is for them to read those stories and then to try to send me a proposal as to what the short story would be if they actually could write it. And for some students, I'll give them the chance to write it if they want. They can earn some extra points. Because actually writing the story often turns out to be quite involving quite a lot of energy and time. So you might not actually want to write the whole story, but I want to see if you can actually just write up a summary of the story you would write. It's called a proposal, right? And I actually want you to send it in to the editors, to the Open Latch Education Foundation, and you'll find the email in the front part of Calligraph. I want you to send in your proposal for a short story to them. Since you bought the book, their promise is that if you really want to work towards publication, publishing a short story for them, they'll work with you. For some, because of your just idea and your skill, it might be a matter of a month or two before you can get a short story published with them. For others, it might take longer because they're going to really work with you to get the story where it needs to be, and you might actually quit before you get it published. But their promise is that they'll publish it if you bought the book, and you can send them the proposal and they'll work with it if you want it. but the promise is that not that it's going to be easy, but that they will work with you and work with you and work with you until they both you and they as editors, they are happy with where the story is, and then they'll publish it in one of their small publications for student writing. It's worth a shot, you know. Anyway, I know I'll give you some points just for reading those stories and writing a proposal. You'll send it to me, and then you'll also send it to the editors. You get some points from me, and maybe you also get a chance to publish a story with those editors if you want.